Today, I wanted to come on live and to talk about 3 mistakes that HR leaders make, especially within the talent acquisition space, when they are sourcing for top talent. And the takeaways from this live stream is going to help you to better optimize your sourcing strategy and to make sure that you are getting the top quality talents. So the first mistake that organizations make when they are sourcing for top talent is they're not really clear on why they are sourcing in the first place. Sourcing is a whole section of a recruitment strategy as a whole. Like every other components within the recruitment cycle, there needs to be a really good reason behind things. Everything needs to be strategic and intentional. However, if you look at the demand for sourcing and the importance of sourcing and how that has been increasing in the last few years, when someone started to do it, others started to do it, and still you're looking at the job description, and when you're looking at how the sources are being trained, essentially it is becoming a way where sourcing is being done for the sake of sourcing. You're kind of playing the numbers game. You're reaching out to whatever top talents that show up on LinkedIn for whatever hard to fill roles, and there is no purpose behind it, nor really good understanding as to how this plays into the whole entire recruitment cycle in the first place, and how is this diversifying, optimizing, and strengthening the existing candidate pool of whether prospective employees or current employees and so forth. You have to know why behind sourcing, just like every other component within the recruitment cycle, and make sure that whoever in your team that is in charge of sourcing, they are aware of this component as well. Don't make them do the work just for the sake of doing the work. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to mention as a mistake is the sourcing strategies are not role specific. If you think about it, sourcing is for many top talents that are passive candidates that might not be interested in your organization until you go up to them. For them, this is the very first of the whole entire experience. Before you even get them into this first step of the journey, you have to make sure that you are finding them in the first place. I'm gonna give a little bit of an example where there was someone that you were trying to get close to for whatever reason, maybe as a friend or maybe as like a dating material. What you did in that case, when you were kind of think through, where would this person be hanging out at? What is this person interested in? What is this person like? What would they be doing on Friday evening? We need to take the exact same approach when it comes to your sourcing strategy. And further on, it needs to be role specific. A senior level candidate in marketing position is not going to be hanging out at a place where a senior level in developer position might. If you're recruiting for a vice president and you're sourcing for one, your sourcing strategy should be very different, or at least how you're getting these candidates in the first place, it should be very different from how you might be sourcing entry-level developers and so forth. Sourcing strategy should be tweaked accordingly as based on the role and based on the ideal candidate for that particular role. So don't be using the exact same strategies as every other organizations or your competitors and expect that, yeah, this is going to work. Hundreds of other organizations are using the same approach. So all of a sudden you're competing with hundreds of other organizations with the exact same strategy. And that's just not the way to go. Make it role specific. Sourcing is a really good opportunity to make sure that you are targeting who that job opportunity is being seen in front of, and going up to that top talent in the first place and being like, hey, would you like to take a look? And this is your chance to make sure that you're getting really close to that ideal candidate profile as much as possible. Even though ideal candidate does not exist, we can get very close with the sourcing. Whereas if you're putting out the job posting and you're waiting for a bunch of applications, there's no guarantee that they will fit that profile as much as possible or have the potential to really, really fit that profile as a high performer. So make it role specific. The last mistake that organizations make when they are sourcing for top talents is that they are not evaluating the effectiveness of sourcing. What I found with a lot of organizations that are starting to take sourcing seriously is either two different ways. Number one, they expect that when the sourcers go to the top talents would be like, yes, I want to work with you guys, sign me up. You want to interview me? Like, I'll leave my job right now. It's either that, or again, the sake of sourcing for sourcing, and they're really, and the sourcers themselves in that position are very unclear as to how to take them through the candidate journey and then transition them into employee experience and the whole employee journey. That's where the evaluation of metrics come in. You have to be very specific about what metrics that you are emphasizing. If you're using sourcing strategy for a particular role, let's say it's a very hard to fill role, and your approach is that you are going to hyper target very specific candidates. We're going to reach out to maybe 10 that fit the profile as much as possible, and then you're going to talk to them, and essentially you're going to go to them and be like, here's why you should work for us. Then maybe the good metric to be measuring in that point is how many of those outreaches actually turned into employees, especially if you had your own shortlist that you were building rapport with. If this is an ongoing sourcing, then maybe the metrics should be a little bit different than whoever that is coming to the interview. Maybe it should be something in lines of how many people are starting to like our organization's page. Are they joining the candidate community? Are they aware of the organization? Are they talking to people within the organization? Are they adding our recruiters? Like, what are the metrics here? What is the next step that you want them to take, and focus your metrics on that. There are, of course, many other metrics, and the ideal situation with sourcing is your recruiters or sourcers go up to the top candidates, and top candidate says, yes, I want this job right now. I want to work with you guys. But that's not always going to be happening, especially for more specialized talents. And again, I say this a lot, top talents are considered top talents for a reason, and every organizations are aware of importance of top talents. So there's a lot of competition here. Metrics. Make sure that you're emphasizing the correct one. And if you're not emphasizing a metric in the first place, this is a time for you to consider how you're going to measure the effectiveness of the sourcing method as much as possible. So to recap, 3 mistakes that organizations make when they are sourcing for top talents. Number 1, why are they sourcing in the first place? Number 2, not making it role specific. Number 3, not evaluating the effectiveness through correct metrics. I hope this was helpful for you today. If you found a lot of value in this, do share this with your team members. I really hope that the takeaways help you to better optimize your sourcing strategy for your organization. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.